All right, Lies of P Overture. Let's get into it. This is the first time I'm seeing gameplay.
In 2021, Round 8 in NeoWiz announced Lies of P.
I see weapons already.
Souls-like that answered the question that no one had thought to ask. What if Bloodborne was actually a Victorian reimagining of Carlo Collodi's Pinocchio? When it launched in 2023, it surprised skeptics and over-delivered in both how great its dark fantasy setting was and how incredibly fun its aggressive combat was.
One of my favorite games of all time. No bullshit.
2 years later, I got to spend some quality time with Overture, the ironically named encore of an expansion to the hit action game.
Oh, you get a gun now?
I didn't get to see much more than around an hour of the first stage and the new boss memories mode. It was apparent very quickly that the South Korean team is poised to overachieve yet again.
Hold on. We got some new armaments to deal with these bosses.
Overture is a prequel to the events of Lies of P, right before the puppet frenzy starts and robotic thralls massacre everyone in the city of Krat. But as it turns out, many of the ideas for settings, weapons, etc. were actually meant for the base game, but got cut out to keep the original release from being too bloated. Round 8 game studio director Ji-won Choi told IGN in an interview that he and his team weren't content with letting these ideas go undeveloped and unrealized. Through a translator, he described Lies of P as finally complete with the addition of Overture.
Shout out to, what's their name, Round 8, the developers. Like, shout out to them, bro, because they have done everything right from conceptualizing this game all the way up until the release and post-release, and now you're getting ready to drop the prequel, DLC, whatever you want to call it. They've done everything right. They've tapped in with the community. They've tweaked. They've listened to things that they've been critiqued on and tweaked it. You know, tweaked the game while it was out through patches. Like, shout out. This is how you want to develop games. Let me find out. China just going and just take over everything in this damn country. Like, or wherever they from, I don't know.
Lies of P has always been associated with Bloodborne, mostly because of how it looks, but also because combat in both games adheres to Souls-like traditions, but forego key behaviors like
Korea, my fault.
Even
I looked it up. Korea, my fault. Korea.
After launch to put a bow
I don't want to seem like I'm racist.
Has become a From Software signature at this point. The Choice team embraces the comparison. Quote, "It's an honor to be compared to From Software," end quote. He added that it motivates the team to make something that can clear the high bar of expectation, and they can only hope that they did that with Lies of P and will continue to do so in Overture. The first steps you take back in the boots of the titular character P is into the snow-packed region around the Krat Zoo. A building your disembodied guide Gemini seems very confused to see standing and not a pile of embers.
Yes, it is. That's Krat
Gemini
Zoo.
Cricket.
How in the blazes? And I mean that literally. The zoo burned down a long time ago.
Story details are light, and the developers are staying tight-lipped about anything we haven't seen so far. After some preamble from your lantern cricket, it was very difficult not to spend a couple of seconds swinging around.
Wait, is that a gunblade? Like with Squall's gunblade? Nah, they paying homage. They paying homage like crazy. You got the gunblade, and then you got the the Cataclysm. This was basically a shotgun on your arm. Nah, this might be the build, y'all. This might be the build.
A gunblade that looks exactly like the kind Squall Leonhardt would have commissioned.
I just said that.
Himself.
I just said
This
that.
is one of the few new weapon types I chopped my way through this frozen menagerie with, on top of new weapons from existing types, and a pair of new, very cool Legion arms that did very different yet very effective kinds of ass-kicking. The Pale Knight, as the gunblade's called, was my main weapon against the ergo-poisoned monsters both on the outskirts of the zoo and within its walls. It has the weight and attack pattern similar to a greatsword, but its heavy attack pulls the trigger, and the double-barreled firearm attached sends lead screaming at foes.
Oh, you could get tricky with that, and that's good spacing too.
Around, so it can be useful when mixed in with light attack strings to remain evasive. A trick I learned far too late in my demo was that you could actually fire the weapon again to rocket yourself back towards the bad guys for a big follow-up attack. So
nah, that's fire.
It's the coolest weapon ever made. Another new weapon type
So you getting free dodges while you're attacking. So you could be on the defensive while staying on offensive. If you could time a boss, if you could time out a boss with the attack string, man, I know the pros when they get on this game, they gonna go stupid.
Dabbled with is the bow, the first completely ranged weapon in the series. It felt perfect for poking smaller enemies from afar, but felt pretty incapable of making a reasonable mark on larger foes. I think with time, there's probably a way to exploit its perfect draw mechanic to menace all sorts of baddies from downrange, but I couldn't manage it in the hour I had. Another new weapon type I wish I spent more time with were a pair of long claws that shredded enemies with the kind of fury that is usually reserved for the best there is at what he does.
Get on your Wolverine shit. Slash them up.
This didn't scratch the surface of weapons I glossed over that were clearly new additions to existing weapon types.
Literally.
But it was abundantly clear to me that people who really love the weapon customization aspect of the base game will have a lot of new toys to match together in Overture. The new Legion arms I tried out also made great additions to P's kit. My favorite was yet another gun. Double-barreled and chargeable to moderate the kind of force spread and impact on the bad guys. It's more a close-range option, but even at half charge it made short work of all the fodder that roamed around the snowy grounds or dilapidated halls of the zoo itself. At full charge, it was a reliable tool to stun bigger foes, or at least interrupt their bevy of attacks for a second.
I like how there's more interruption in the attacks, because the parry one, I'm sorry I keep pausing it, but I'm really into this game. I liked how because the parry window was kind of sus. They patched it and made it a little bit better, but to me, I don't know, maybe I'm just ain't that good. The parry window was kind of sus for Liza P. So I'm glad they give you more mechanics to halt the enemy's attack and not take damage. Like with the pale blade, the heavy attack is shoot it and you can dodge away, and you can shoot it again to dodge back forward. And then this with the cataclysm, you can charge the gun. Like this is, I want to play this game right now. I'm not gonna lie, I want to play this right now.
I came to the second arm late in the demo, but it was certainly a strong offensive option in its own right. It launched blades that would swirl around enemies for a short time, similar to the throwable saw blade item, but with two differences. One, it can fire multiple blades at once to do some significant damage over time to one target, and two, with a quick press of a button before releasing the flying blade, you can change the attack completely to a set of blades that dance around P instead, great for doing solid AoE damage. Speaking of targets, the cast of enemies in this section was pretty unremarkable outside in the beginning of the level, but got very interesting as we got deeper in the zone. Some bitey wolves and grabby zombies were run-of-the-mill, but standouts like some very angry kangaroos and an ergo-plagued elephant with a Resident Evil-style surprise really wowed me. I spent so much time against the ladder that I only just made it to the end of the level to see the boss, an enormous crocodile twisted by ergo.
Oh, that is disgusting. Tyrannical predator.
On that note,
he's going to be annoying.
We'll get a new focus in the patch for the base game that will accompany Overture with two new game modes, Battle Memories and Death March. Death March is a straight-up boss rush, allowing you to make a playlist of at least 3 bosses and attempt to take them all down in one go. Battle Memories, meanwhile, allows you to return to old boss fights and attempt to beat them again.
He was annoying.
Up to 5
she was annoying.
Difficulty. Each tier increasing some unique stats that these bosses gain in this mode. Rewards for conquering these tiers has
he was not
elaborated on.
You just got to catch his timing, and then when you get him out the suit, then it's a little harder. But it's not OD.
One of the old bosses, the Black Rabbit Brotherhood, to see how different
annoying,
it was on tier 3 than my memory of them in the base game. The way they beat me and my rusty fingers to death didn't point out any real differences, but as with the rest of Lies of P, I'm sure teasing out the mystery comes with lots of experimentation.
Yo, the second fight with them, oh man, I clutched the fuck out of that one. Like, y'all could go on my channel and see it.
Lies of P was one of the standout games of 2023, and among the best games in its action RPG subgenre, not made by From Software. Overture doesn't play with the formula too much, but I found that the new ingredients it added, like the great new weapon types and fabulously freaky monsters, prove that there's never really too much of a good thing, even if it's largely the same thing. For more on the latest upcoming games, don't miss our recent previews of Shadow Labyrinth or Mugenics. And for everything else in the world of gaming, stick with IGN.
This game is going to be so fire, man. So fire. Oh my goodness. This game is going to be so crazy.
And it's all sorts of baddies from
So
downrange.
Liza P. Overture, man. Like, I'm loving the weapons. I'm loving how they took weapons that they previously wanted to put in the first game, but they didn't want to make it too bloated, and they just put it in this. And then it came up with a prequel story. This takes place before the first game. So I wonder what type of stuff we're going to be getting into. But let me tell you, these weapons are probably better than the main game weapons from what I'm seeing so far. Especially that Gunblade. I like this one. I like the Icarus Legion arm where you can throw blades. Like, here we go right here. And then the shotgun Cataclysm. Like, and I know they came up with even more. I know there's going to be more. And then I know there's going to be even more weapons. But I already see my build. This is probably going to be my build right here. The Cataclysm and the Gunblade. Because with the Gunblade, you could dodge out the way with the heavy attack because it shoots. So you're dealing damage while you're on defense. Insane game this is going to be. Insane game. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I've been yapping enough. So y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments, right? So you already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.